Swept Cerberus right off his feet and effortlessly set him down softly as a songbird. Atlas kept the world upon his back and every day wondered whether he could stand it any longer. And Tara Reid came out to say the man they tried to label the messiah of morality was really just another rapist. And I don't intend to hesitate when asked who was the stronger. Tara, like Assange, knew that carrying the truth would be the hardest labor. Tara knew that her assailant wasn't gonna make us any safer, and knew he's just the type of man to hand a decent foreign leader U.S. printed walking the truth would be the hardest labor, and knew he'd be relentless and aggressive in the war he'd wage upon her very character, and that his attempts to weaken and degrade and embarrass her would be her only compensation. But I strongly doubt that anyone could ever have foreseen the stream of hate that came from quote progressives and the self-styled titans of survivor advocacy. So if you really think there's something to be gained out of sharing your pain with the world, you are sorely mistaken. The Biden team just drug their feet addressing Tara's allegations. Until they had a decent list of smears, then they aired them out on every station. And it turns out no one wants to hear the truth of who they praised as being worthy of such bloated liberal celebration. That no one wants to really know the person they've so valiantly defended, even when it meant they had to gloat and shit all over someone braver than they'd be if given the occasion. Now cue the faceless comment squad invasion. Cue those fuckers crawling out the woodwork to come analyze the way you wore your hair and what you wear. Like your appearance waives your rights, or that somehow you're the reason for your situation. Somehow they've decided you should bear responsibility for what such monstrous men insist on doing. Somehow they're deluded by the empty, hypocritical, and useless fucking platitudes that bastard keeps on spewing. And I think it's very telling that the best of their excuses when they try to come and justify our president's abuses is a hearty butt Trump. In which case I'll remind you that you never saw the news attempt to sell us Donald Trump like he was morally upstanding or a decent human. But when Joe says something bigoted or ogles someone's little kid, CNN says, isn't this refreshing? Biden's like a mix of JFK and FDR with all the finer parts of Harry Truman. Christ, I know that they don't think that we're the brightest, but at least pretend we got a couple lumens. Ask yourself if you have ever questioned what they fed you, or do you just shut your eyes and then consume it? And now ask yourself if you ate every one of Biden's lies under guise of harm reduction and the promise of a slight improvement. And now imagine long ago that Biden chose to show you who he really was by traumatizing you for his amusement. Now imagine that you watched him touch a Bible with those filthy hands, and then assume the power of the highest seat in all the land, of knowing your attacker wields a global coalition born of three-letter agencies who'll make a life's mission out of trying to discredit you through lies, damn lies, and collusion. Big tech is never gonna separate from our surveillance state. Fuck's sakes, they're just a breath away from total fusion. So there will come a time where even if you see the light, your voice will never reach the sky through all the bots and all the noise pollution. So trust us when we tell you that the masking of abuses is perhaps this country's oldest institution. And I know nothing nobler than facing it in honor of the truth when you know that the people holding power have been neutralizing truth since there was wet ink on the Constitution. So know that Tara's truth is something crucial to the movement. And if you see yourself a partner to the revolution, help this country see through all the baseless propaganda through the crux of Joe's illusions. And recognize that Tara Reid gave everything she had so she could tell us what the truth is. Recognize the decent thing to do when someone bears their soul and shows their bruises is not to ask for context or offer up your own solutions. Your job is just to listen with an honest mind and put yourself on Tara's side a moment.
Hi, everybody. It is Saturday night. It's Indy, and we are live. Yay, yay, yay. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Everybody can see me. This should look good, sound good. This is Friends of Indy Left, And I am, oh my God, super duper excited to talk to this guest tonight, who I have been admiring and watching from the moment he appeared on stage at a Bernie rally somewhere, God knows how long ago at this point. And he was endearing and hilarious, and I think I followed him on Twitter after that and afterwards. And we're gonna turn his mic on and bring him in. Jay Befaunt, RBN, how you doing, man? You're live.
I'm doing good. It's great to be here.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully everybody can see you. That's first and foremost, and hear you. I want to make sure we'll do. Oh, no. I think we're still in studio mode, and therefore nobody can actually see you, hear you, or anything. There's me, and there's JB. See that? I wasn't lying. Holy moly. How you doing, everybody? I knew they could hear us, and now they can see us, too. What's going on, everybody? We got Les Bones, we've got Warren in chat, we got Dingo. Hey, everybody. Okay, so this is everybody. Hopefully you can see the chat well, Jay, so you can see what they're up to.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful,
definitely.
Beautiful. So I'm gonna do my little spiel. We're live on just about every platform except for our Rockfin. I'm gonna do a double check on the Rockfin and see if we can get in there, because Marcus was going live on Rockfin too, and he blocked our feed. Marcus, what are you doing? Anyway, it's all good. We love Marcus. We love Political Matrix. They're good guys too. And he's still blocking and still live with Kid Cabello trying to go live on our channel. Hey. Anyway, so we have, again, a few people in here. We got the JB lean in. And I wanted to, again, say welcome everyone to Friends of Indie Left. Thank you so much for being here. I started this show at the beginning of this year as a way for all of us to learn a little bit more about the people whose work and analysis that we amplify regularly in Independent Left News, in Leftist.today, and in our Discord server, Independent Left GG, and with our Indie News Network family. And there's a reason why we include their content in our aggregator site, and we want you to see what we see. So this is being co-streamed to Indie News Network, all the INN channels. And our Friends of Indie Left also play well with all the other INN family members. And you can see, again, Uncle Warren's in the chat. I know that you've been on Reefer. I know we're scheduled to go on Reefer After Dark if you haven't been on there yet. But I know that's in the works. Hopefully one of these days. And Edible will be consumed at that point. And again, So we're at episode 7, and this is Friends of Indie Left, and I am excited to sit down with, again, I'm going to give you a little nice intro. And it's really funny. I Googled the name James Fauntleroy today, and I did not know that there is a famous, producer, Hollywood entertainer by the name of James Fauntleroy. I'm like, wait a minute. And you can almost double for him. Are you related? Are you family? Are you family?
Yeah.
I'm like, how are they not working together already?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because this particular James Fauntleroy has worked with many big name artists. I think he's out in Los Angeles, and I tried to reach out just to, be like, hey, we have the same name. And a lot of us who have the last name Fauntleroy are most likely all related. You can probably take a DNA test and, go down the line, and you probably go, maybe as far as 7-8 generations back, and find out that we're all related because we all pretty much came from the same area. So, yeah, there's a lot of us. There's a few of us out there. There's actually an area in Washington called Fauntleroy as well. I think it's near Seattle. So there's an actual area with my last name in it too. So it's
Get out. That's pretty awesome. So James Fauntleroy, better known as Jay Befaunt or JB. Okay, he's an activist.
Oh,
go ahead.
Just one also little tidbit of information. If you go on the Google machine and you look up Donald Duck's middle name, you'll see Fauntleroy as his middle name.
Get out. Well, that kind of makes sense. Oh, we got RLA in the chat. Radical Leftist Agenda. How are you? So Jay Befaunt, JB, he's the activist. He is a disability advocate, and he's the host of the JB Show on Revolutionary Blackout Network, as well as his own podcast live stream at the Jay Befaunt channel, which, by the way, just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Congratulations. We're so happy and proud of you for that.
Thank you.
This again is going live on Rockfin, YouTube, Odyssey. Well, it's not Rockfin yet. Facebook, Telegram, Twitch, and Twitter. And it is 9:30 on Saturday night right now, so we're excited to have you. So again, I have a bunch of questions. I've been a fan, like I said. I saw you. I think you did you introduce Bernie on stage? Is that what happened? Were you like at a rally or?
Me? No, never.
Why did I see you on? I don't know where I saw you somewhere. Where I felt like I saw you somewhere on stage or on camera, and you were like shy, and you're like, I don't know, I've never been up here. Maybe that wasn't even you. It felt like it was, but maybe I'm.
No, I'm. The only time I've ever actually been, I given a speech like that was at the March for Medicare for All.
Right.
I was there here in Orlando, and we were giving a speech there. I gave one of the speeches. I was actually one of the only people that wasn't running for office that actually spoke.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I know. What's her name? The girl, was it Christine? She was
Christine Olivio.
Olivio. She was there. And didn't Meg was there too. I was actually, I brought up the picture today. You were on the cover of Common Dreams, man. That was awesome. You had like a full
Yeah.
page, full picture of, it was your picture credited at Jay Befaunt. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've never had anything make it into Common Dreams, so that was super impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So how did you like decide? When did you decide to turn on a camera, and start streaming and podcasting, and how did you kind of find RBN? I kind of want to hear like the origin story of how did we end up here having this conversation? I love asking everybody that question, just see where it goes.
Well, it was in a galaxy far, far away, a long, long time ago. I was in Studio 54 having a dirty martini, and Rick James came up to. No, I was kidding. Oh man, I wish it started off like that, but it's kind of interesting. So I've had this channel for quite some time, but I didn't really do much of anything with it until last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to put little clips here and there about my political opinions, things like that. And the time when I really dove into this, truly meant to dive into this, was in late October, early November of last year. And I already had a few people who were, subscribed, but it was just like people just in passing, like, oh, this tiny little channel where he did a couple quirky things and that's it. And that was it. But it's interesting that you asked that question, because there's two people who really inspired me. Inspired, but also encouraged me to create my channel. Is former FHL/RBN member Jackie and Sabby Sabs. They were the ones that encouraged me to create my own channel. And they were very, they were behind me the 100%. And I finally decided, you know what? I just need to do it. Because I wanted something of my own, but at the same time, I also wanted to cast a wider net as far as the independent left space goes, because not everyone is going to want to, and I kind of use the term loosely, subscribe to different people, because they may have different personalities that they may like, they may want to get their information from or their commentary from. So I figured maybe some people would like to hear from somebody like me, and I figured because of the type of background that I have, one of basically being within a hair's breadth of poverty, being also queer and being disabled, maybe, just maybe, that somebody would want to hear what I have to say, and they would feel heard. So that's one of the reasons why also that I also created my channel. And also I just wanted to, there's a lot of people within this space, BreadTube. There's a lot of people who are in this space who they have their sense of urgency is contingent upon certain factors happening to them. But those factors aren't necessarily tied to housing security, food insecurity. They're not necessarily tied to some of these more pressing things because they tend to be a little bit higher up on, the class scale. And so it's not as big of an urgent thing for them as, say, somebody like myself. So I think that's part of one of the reasons why that I also felt kind of a need, because and plus, well, look at me, I'm Black, so that also covers another base. So so it's just there's not a lot of people who reflect me in this space, so I felt might as well jump. I've been with RBN for 9 months, 10 months by that time. Well, 8 or 9 months by that time. No, my math's horrible. 6 months. Duh. By that time. So I figured I got enough training, so I think I can start on my own.
Well, you guys launched like April 1st of last year, right?
Yes, we did.
And I you're one of the 3 founders, correct? Or no, it was Rome and Jay and Nick, correct? Or you were one of them too, right? You were right there.
Well, the idea came from them, and the first group was Nick, CJ, Rome, myself, Jackie, and RJ.
Right.
So yeah, we were the first people who started. At the time, it was called FHL, Fred Hampton Leftist, but we since changed the name to Revolutionary Blackout Network.
Yep. So again, I've been a follower and a fan and an amplifier pretty much since the day you guys launched. I thought it was fantastic to have that voice, and you guys, like I said, have pretty much brought the words mutual aid, in my opinion, back to a mainstream point on the left, to a place where people had not really been talking about it to the level that, and you guys burst on the scene pretty quickly. I'll tell you that we were running the U.S. Solutions Summit. I was the event director for it last year, and people were like, you guys should invite RBN, at that time FHL. I'm like, I would love to, but I don't even know who they are, what they are yet. I think they're doing some great things. And now I regret, of course, not getting you guys involved earlier and realizing how much we were going to grow together. But I just didn't know at the time. But you were so new, and I saw what you guys were doing. I just love it. I've loved it from day one.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've seen the evolution, how you added people, how there was struggle and there was conflict, and you guys worked through it. I think you came through stronger in the end. I think that there's still love for all of the former members that are there, which I think, is a great thing as well. And I agree with Jackie and Sabby, and I was probably also one of the people encouraging you to have your own channel, because that's actually, what happened with FHL and RBN in October inspired, in a way, INN, Indie News Network, because I saw what happened. And I said, they have it like just perfect. The way that everybody's independent, but the thing is that now Meg and RJ left, and they had to pretty much rebuild their channels from scratch. So it was that everybody should have their own channel and their own presence and their own audience that you're bringing to the network. And it changes things a little bit, and it gives you the flexibility to be more independent and to have more of a voice in the network. So and when we put INN together, I wanted to make sure that people did not have a huge following and a huge presence, so nobody was going to have the ego or big time. We're all small, we're all starting out, we're all missing something, and we're all here to help amplify and lift each other. And I think that that's what you guys do so well, and the way that you work together. The roundtables certainly inspired what we do with our roundtable streams. And again, it's really funny when Nick said that he wanted to do a summit back in November. You know, he announced it. He was on stream with CJ, and he goes, you know, I think I want to do a summit around around solutions and around jobs and around maybe a general show. I'm like, we've been organizing, we've been doing something like that. We put out something like that just 4 months ago. I want to help, I want to be involved. So was so happy to be able to be involved with the General Strike Summit. And you guys again are leading the way as far as putting on events like that. Even you had a disability section in the summit, as well as you did your own disability stream, right?
Yeah, I've done the disability panel back before we had the General Strike Summit, and then during the General Strike Summit, there was actually 3 different disability panels, and I'm quite happy that we were able to do that because for those of us who are disabled, we tend to be, pushed to the background, so to speak. So because of that, it is shown some more light on those of us who are going through this. And so I was actually, I was privileged to be able to do it.
Yeah. Well, and again, there's some great people that are that you're doing it with for sure. So Savage Joy, I know, was on a couple of those streams. Again, shout out to all the advocates out there for disabled people who are disabled themselves, who are experiencing it, and that's something that we also, we've got. Noli D, I know you had Noli on a few weeks ago. She's another disability advocate. We love Noli. She shouted out. Yeah. She says she loves you, and she says hi. I texted with her earlier.
She's great, isn't she?
Oh, she's phenomenal. And also, I have we have Mona, who's our one of our friends, super fans, one of the inspirations for Indie Left, for INN. She also went through dialysis. She went through a kidney transplant. And so I have a lot of, kind of direct feel for what you're experiencing and what your specific direct issues on a daily basis and on a weekly basis, having to dedicate the time to go and get treatments and get the dialysis. And just how many facilities there are. And I learned so much about the fact that there are basically 2 companies that control this entire industry, right? More monopoly type of capitalistic shit. It's fascinating to think about the kind of, and again, and then the services that are available in this country for poor people, the way that they jack you on the fees and on little things, and then on having to get transportation wise just to be able to get to and from to get to your treatment. So at least some people are listening, I'll tell you right now, and you and the other advocates have certainly been reaching some of us out there, and I want to tell you that live. I think that from some of the comments and the responses and the tweets you get, that it does have impact on people daily, but I certainly want to, it's had impact on my conversation, on my thought process, on in the workplace when I'm considering things, when I'm thinking about it. Again, I want to give a big shout out. Savage Joy this week started a new job, and she's doing the job, and she's kind of bumping around because and everyone knows about her disability, and she's struggling a little bit, but she's pushing through, and her attitude is phenomenal. And again, we need to advocate and uplift and and understand so that and treat equally and provide services so that again, I had on Mike from Blind Justice with Noli, the services that they're trying to deny him in. It's gross how the people who we should be taking care of the most are the ones who have to fight and struggle the hardest to get help, to get voice, to get anything. It's again, so your advocacy has turned others into an advocate in more ways than one. Again, so again, this is Friends of Indie Left. This is not coming at our friends here. I definitely want to talk to you and shower you with some of the love that the community feels for you. That again, I just fucking adore you, man. You're an unbelievable
Oh,
person.
thank you.
I see it every day on your streams. I
Oh
see it in
man.
our DM threads, in our chats. Again, the heart that you've got for everyone, the way that the vitriol that people come at you with, it kills me. It hurts me to see, because I see the goodness, all day long. And again, the grifter comment that makes me hysterically laugh, all of us laugh, like damn, if we're grifters, then they're the worst fucking we're the worst fucking grifters ever in history, right? Like, because all we want to do is help people. And again,
Yeah.
look at Rome grifting by giving out pizzas and taking his shoes off and giving it to, Reef and I talk all day about you guys and how much impact you've had on the space, and the positive impact that you've had. Again, March for Medicare for All, and all the organizing that you guys did around the country.
Yeah, which Savage Joy was a huge part of in
Mhm.
organizing that. And I am deeply appreciative of what people like Savage Joy and Sharif have done, and helping to organize that and to include us in it. You have people from whole Washington also involved. But you have the people who are, who may look at people like myself and they see, me on a channel on YouTube, and there's this automatic assumption that I am somewhere up there with the larger platforms, even though my platform, I just literally hit 1,000 subscribers, and for some reason there's this disdain for me, and I don't really understand, because if they truly knew what I was going through, they would, I don't know if some of them would even want to, to confess to what I confessed to on camera, about being basically, basically around the poverty line and having to deal with being, having a chronic illness and things like that. So it's just, I understand that everybody has a human experience and everybody's going through that experience. But if people try to be more empathetic and more kind to see what people are going through, and even just ask a question, like, what are you really going through? I think that it could be just a little bit better. Because I know a lot of them, they go through a lot. And I would hate to see them go through that. And I think one of the things that I try to, it's to the best of my ability. I know I'm not perfect, but I try to do is to look at them from a standpoint, well, what are you going through? Some of them are going through a lot, and sometimes it may be that they are angry and they need to take their anger out on something or someone, and it may not be done in the most productive way, because tearing people down, what good does that do for you? I mean, we are the left, and what do we pride ourselves on? We pride ourselves on building people up, then building society up by building, the people who are the most disenfranchised among us up. But sometimes we fall into that pit, that capitalistic pit, where we want to make someone seem worse. I mean, they want to make someone seem that they're someone bad that has this ulterior motive that is there just to scam or grift you, and I I literally had it yesterday from somebody who was tweeting, and they were basically calling me a grifter, and they were basically saying that I that I'm a secret white winger, and I'm just like, really?
Yeah. Because so many
yeah,
right wingers want
it's
Medicare
crazy.
for all. Yeah, right wingers want Medicare for all. Right wingers want criminal justice and want to blow
Mhm.
up the entire justice for the criminal the entire criminal justice system, which is completely racist and structured against black people. I
Yeah.
mean, it's yeah,
Yeah, paying
yeah, right
attention to that
winger.
whole horseshoe. Oh yeah, paying
Well,
attention to that whole valley of horseshoe theory, which is completely baseless, and thinking that, because I'm a socialist, then automatically I have to be in league with the right, instead of me having my own mind. And then they want to mention me with a couple of other more prominent YouTubers, thinking that I get my ideas from them. It's silly, and I have my own mind, and I come to my own conclusions based on what I look at.
well, see,
So
the funny thing is anyone that actually called you that, we know that they've never actually watched your streams. Because anyone that watched you either on RBN or on your channel knows, what you're all about for sure. Look at the guests who you have on, the conversations that you have, the things that you advocate for. I laugh when people call us, right wing, because anything they don't believe in is right wing. Like Reap is saying right now, these pants make us look right wing for sure, 100%. Yeah, we definitely look right wing in those pants. It's just funny. But there's a lot of vitriol, and I want to, I told you I want to play an experiment where some of the tweets where you're getting some hate, I'm gonna try to put them out as Indie Left, and let's see if it's because it's JB or if it's because it's the messaging. I have a feeling that a lot of it is personal against JB, and why there's no more of a lovable teddy bear dude that I've ever seen in my life. Like, dude, I want to squeeze those cheeks all day long, every day.
That's what he said.
Right? What's up, dude?
Don't get me started. Don't you
Oh,
get me in trouble, Indy.
no,
Don't you get me in trouble.
we're not going to start with that stuff right there. But we needed a little bit of a JB lean in, and we needed to get some laughing out. But
yeah.
Again,
You ask and you shall receive, baby.
We go through a lot. We go through a lot of serious crap, and we need family, and we need people to lift us up. And again, I'm happy to make sure that there is a whole group of us. Again, we're all like-minded, and that we've connected. I think that 2.5, 3 years ago, we were so disconnected in so many ways. Discord and Twitter and the Bernie campaign brought us all together in a way, and now it fragmented a ton of people, but it also separated who's who and who's real in the last 2 years. Because look, if you're still fighting for that dude after the last 2 years, we know, we know you're not really fighting. We know that you're fighting to maintain the status quo and give it the veneer that you're actually doing something. But you guys have gotten in the streets. Okay, and you showed what actual activism is. It's not tweeting, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it technically is tweeting too. And here's why: because how in the hell do you expect to get people together if you don't communicate with them? The thing is, a lot of times people will say, "Well, you guys are tweeting." And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, isn't this also planting seeds to people who may not have considered some of these things before? So it's more that it's that using that also as a tool in order to activate people into doing more, either for their community or for their society that they live in. So, and then on top of it, it's a domino effect, which means that you activate others, which can push for more meaningful change. So I don't necessarily downplay tweeting, right, as much, as maybe especially some liberals will be like, who's, shut up and stop tweeting and get out in the streets. It's like, well, I mean, we can do both.
Mm-hmm. No, that's the thing. You don't just tweet. You don't just tweet. You're also out in the streets, and that's what I love. Well, it's you back it up, and I think.
Well, I'm trying to get out a little bit more. I'm not out as much as I would like to be. Part of it's because of being disabled, and so I have my limitations. But I mean, I'm being coached by people like Rome, into getting out there. I also have to give a shout out to Afeni,
Oh,
because Afeni's a
yeah.
real one, and she has also taught me, people like her and Glory Jones, and you know, um,
Shout out Glory.
my
Happy
goodness, and
graduation,
Comrade Misty.
Glory. Comrade Misty.
Yeah, happy
Yep.
graduation, Glory.
One of my favorite. Yep. You're naming literally my favorite people. And actually, Misty and
Yep,
Afeni have both been on Friends of Indie Left already. There's only been 8,
yep.
but they are among who I
Hmm.
consider to be my closest friends for sure. Okay, now
Yeah,
we
yeah.
finally. All right, we got access. Good. Now we're going live with Rockfin. It's going to pick us up. What's up,
Nice.
Rockfin? Hey, okay. So now we're live on Rockfin too. Um, yeah, so shout out to Afeni, shout out to Misty.
Hmm.
Yep, they actually organize, they get
Yeah,
people out there, they get in the streets, and
yeah,
they get a megaphone in their hands, and they get loud, and I love them for that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you
They're
know,
they're they're, they're badass. Definitely are.
so you've been advocating, you've been doing housing advocacy, I know, like fair housing costs, because we've seen that it's very personal because they've been jacking up
Oh, yeah.
rents in the Orlando area, something fierce. And
Oh, yeah.
how I don't even know, is this a local government thing? I'm guessing we probably have to get to some kind of local government level and try to get city ordinances with rent
Yeah.
control, rent stability. We know that your governor unfortunately isn't going
Yeah.
to do shit for you.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and federally they're going to just slap a band-aid on it and then give pork to the corporation. So I don't know what the answer is. How do we fix this? And
Yeah.
oof, it's God.
It is a seemingly daunting task, but like one person said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And so I look at people like, for instance, he's in Rockfin a lot, and I see him a lot on Sabby Sabs, commenting. Roger Meadows, shout out to you, Roger Meadows.
Shout out to Roger
Always talking
Meadows.
about, yeah, always talking about ballot initiatives, and there could be a way to try to curtail that, especially in the state of Florida. Uh, if you It is considered illegal to have rent control on apartments that have a monthly rent greater than $1,200. But here's the problem: most apartments in Central Florida are now hitting $1,200
Right.
and up. So, uh, you know, uh, ballot initiatives probably can help with that, which I need to look more into. But also, I'm looking at people like Shama Sawant in Seattle,
Hmm.
uh, council person Shama Sawant, who has done phenomenal work with trying to establish rent control in Seattle. So, I mean, if we are trying to do something on the local level, look at the model, of what Shama Sawant has been doing, and try to see if you can try to copy that model. And also, Shama Sawant is, an independent, So as
Love
far
her.
as trying to work within the independent or third party route, you can also definitely do that on the ground. Because even though there's a lot of us who look at electoral politics as a fool's errand, especially within the duopoly, it could still be a benefit if you focus on local and you try to go either independent or third party to take over those city council seats in the city government, and maybe even state legislator and things like that, so that you can affect the local area. Because you don't, like, my motto always is leave the world better than you found it, but you don't have to change somebody's entire world just to make it better. You don't have to change the entire world to make it better. You can change somebody's world, and it could be just a few of your neighbors that you can help get rent control for. So there's different opportunities like that. So I
You
mean,
know, again, like,
start off small and just chip it away.
to me, mutual aid to me is defined as help the person next to you who needs help. And again, that's
Yeah.
something that you guys basically, not, I wouldn't say taught me, but kind of reminded me of exactly what we're all here for. And
Yeah.
doing podcasts and doing all this stuff is great, but we're here to help the people that are watching, that are in chat,
Hmm. Yeah.
that are struggling daily. And
Hmm.
again, you guys give way more than you take in. I see that on a regular basis. We do the same. It's all about giving back and having enough for ourselves to live, but really the rest of it just goes right back into supporting everybody else, because we're all in this together. I mean, and I think that again, you guys are just doing amazing stuff when it comes to that. So you got General Strike Summit, Disability Summit. You launched your own YouTube channel. I wanted to ask you who some of your favorite or most impressive guests have been, both on FHL,
Oh.
RBN, and as well as on your own
Oh.
channel. Because I know you've had some pretty impressive ones. I know you had the legend himself. You got to talk to Dr. West. So he's got to be up
Yeah.
there. He would have to be up there just to sit and that's like going to church right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Cornell West was a really great guest to have. Deeply inspiring, and I honestly felt an imposter syndrome because the intellectual capabilities of someone like him, and I cannot stress this enough, the intellectual capabilities of Nick. So it felt like I kind of felt like I kind of felt like a Padawan. And here's my nerdy side coming out. It felt like a Padawan in the Jedi Temple, and I was looking at a high-ranking Jedi Knight, which is Nick, and then I was looking at a Jedi Master, kind of like
Like
that.
Yoda. Yeah, he's the Yoda.
Yeah,
He's a Yoda for
yeah.
sure.
But then at the same time, um, you also have really great guests that I've had on that aren't that famous,
Right.
that are doing great work on the ground that people really like. You may even see like the view count as kind of low, but some of these people were some great guests that are doing some amazing things on the ground. Alan Axelrod, I mean, he's with the No Amarin Shutoffs that is going on in Illinois, which is helping with making sure that people in Illinois do not get a utility shutoff in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
And he's been speaking at city council meetings and writing letters to J.D. Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois, who is a huge neoliberal and a billionaire, and trying and actually having success in doing that. And so between people like him, Shama Sawant, which I also had the privilege to interview and have a conversation with. Shama Sawant is a badass, and I absolutely appreciate and love the work that she's doing. And shout out to Kamali Rose, who I've had as well as a guest, and he's a former RBN member. It was great having a conversation with him, especially talking about what's it called, building dual power, things like that.
He's a
And
philosophical dude. I'm a fan of Kamali. He and I have had some
yeah.
good conversations as well offline. Big fan of his. Shama Sawant, total badass. How do we get more Shama Sawants on city councils? Because look at how much trouble one Shama Sawant that actually advocates for the stuff that we want to have. It's like, could you imagine?
Yeah.
If they actually did what we wanted them to do and what they said they were going to do in Congress, if there had been 8 Shama Sawants in there actually being a thorn in Nancy's side, man.
But that's the thing, though,
I
Indy.
know
I
you
mean,
can't get in there and do that.
Shama Sawant is a unicorn, and the thing is you can find a few more, but I don't want us to get in this headspace that just because we see somebody like Shama Sawant, that she's going to be the rule rather than the exception. Because what really drives politicians to do what we want? That drive typically comes from direct action. If you look at all the successes that we've had, the social as well as economic successes, it was due to direct action being that strong arm that forces politicians, even if they don't want to do what we want them to do, because there was this reverence of fear of the people that drove them to do what we wanted them to do. For instance, we literally got a racist to sign the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. We literally got a racist to do it.
Yep.
And so if we can force someone like LBJ to actually do it, then imagine what we could do with Joe Biden if we truly strong arm our way into saying, no, you're going to do this. If not, be afraid, be very afraid. And so, yeah, but the thing is that comes with having massive direct action power on the ground. The problem is that has been cut and shade and stabbed with 1,000 cuts over the decades, because they know that is what gets things done. And so they said, oh, all you need to do is just vote harder, just put in more progressives, and then you'll finally get what you want. And the thing is that they basically neutered us by making sure that all we did was just vote, when really we should have actually had our asses out in the streets like our predecessors have done in times past, because that is what works. The thing is that, and it's not saying don't vote, it's saying put all your power out there in the streets so that it scares the people into doing what you want. That's basically it.
Yep. And Liu Kang is saying in chat, it would require a significant amount of black voters opting out of the DNC in 2022 and threatening to do so in 2024, wouldn't it? And paired with direct
that's
actions.
Why we have
100%.
Yeah, that's why we have RBN. RBN exists for one of these sole purposes. You know, and look, might I remind, you know, a lot of people, and even I was pretty skeptical of what Ice Cube was saying, you know, when he was talking about a contract with the black community. And the thing is, he said, we're not gonna, you know, vote for any one of y'all if you guys do not agree and carry out these demands that we need for our community. And really, truth be told, he was right for that. The thing is that you got a lot of people, particularly liberals, particularly black liberals, let's be real, who were shaming him because they had this Donald Trump derangement syndrome, and then they're saying, well, we don't want Donald Trump to stay. And the thing is, people don't realize that instead of having red Trump, you guys got blue Trump.
All day, man.
And so it's like, what's the difference? You know, and then people will say, well, but Roe v. Wade, what happened this week?
Well, that's because of Trump.
What about the kid? Yeah, right? But what about the kids in cages? What about the kids in cages? We still have the kids in cages. You know, what about Muslim ban? We still have Muslim ban. What about, you know, what about the virus? I want to make sure I don't say it directly because you know, I know
we're on Rockfin, but
monetization
okay.
And all that. But you know, what about that? And it's like, well, wasn't Joe Biden and Kamala Harris the same people who were like, oh, well, you know, we're going to hold off on taking the jab because it's under Donald Trump. We're going to hold off. And yet nothing changed with any of the formulas for the jab at all. You know, it never went to a completely different company. It was all the same, except for now you have a new administration. And now suddenly it's okay. And so you have these, you know, people who talk about, oh, well, you know, as if Donald Trump is the greatest evil. And it's like, all of them pretty much are, because if you look at Donald Trump and you look at Joe Biden, they're both men of about the same age, and they were raised at the same, you know, type of era with the same type of values. And they have pretty much allowed themselves to be purveyors of white supremacy and racism and this debased capitalist, type of ideology. So what's the difference? The only difference is one had 40 years of practice.
That's what I was about to say, 40 years of being a lawmaker, and the other one was 40 years of grifting on the entire. And you want to talk grifter? Holy crap! The guy who had no accountability, that declared bankruptcy 6 times, that just took fleeced bankers, fleeced everybody. And again, if there, I was saying from minute one, if this guy made so many people wealthy, he would be screaming and championing them on stage every day. We know that he didn't. All right, we know what this dude was about, and the fact that so many people were snowed and believed in him and are still so sycophantic that think that this guy still walks on water is remarkable to me. And anybody, again, this is why I know you're far from a right winger, because any right winger would be like, "What are you guys crazy? Trump's the greatest thing ever." No, he's not, and we're not Trumpers. We are certainly never Trumpers, because we were never Bidens, we were never Hillarys, we were never Trump, we were never Romney, we were never any of them. I would go back, the last Democrat that I was even, we were pro Bernie, but even we realized Bernie isn't going to do what we need Bernie to do ever. And he's almost 80 years old. That time has passed. I can't believe they're actually talking about Bernie 2024. I love Jesse Jett, our creative director, or our musical director over at INN now. I love him to death. He wrote that Bernie song, and it's Shepherd of Hopes, and that's what he is, man. He is the strike killer. And again, one of the greatest things you guys did in the last year and a half is during the General Strike Summit, when Rome went out to the Kellogg strike. On site, right, and I think it was Sabby went out, and it was Kamali went out with the nurses, and that was so fucking badass. Let me tell you, all right. And I think that's probably something we should be doing more often, is trying to get out to strikes and supporting strike actions directly, and interviewing the people that are actually striking. Because I think what's happening too often is the narrative is being shaped around, and nobody ever really talks to the workers, at least not much. And it's kind of fitting after our friend Chris Smalls was trumpeted, was paraded into the White House. And I have a lot of feelings and a lot of commentary about that. I'm a huge fan of Chris Smalls. I think you are too. And did you get a chance to interview him on your channel?
No, I would like to. However, he was on RBN in the early days. He actually did an interview with RJ, actually talking about the Amazon unionization. Right. So we have a history with Chris Smalls. He actually, the stream that he did with RJ is over a year old now. So, so as far as the battle that Chris Smalls was fighting, RBN was there, in the early days. So, and here's the thing about him being shown around in Washington. I think he's trying to get a lot of attention on it to inspire more people to do what he did. But I also think that the Democratic Party at large has an ulterior motive for him.
Agreed.
And their motive is to use him to prop up the Democratic Party, to say, see, we're pro-union. We got you guys backs, when they never really did.
Never.
And so it's kind of like he's trying to use them so that to make unions more popular, but they're trying to use him to get more people to donate to Act Blue. You know what I mean? But the thing is that my hope is they are unsuccessful, but he is deeply successful. That's my hope. but I just hope that I just hope that they don't end up co-opting that, because the Democrats have a long history of co-opting things. Might I remind you of kneeling on the ground with kente cloth? So
that, I mean,
yeah.
might I remind you of hot sauce in a purse? All right. All right. That's my favorite. Is I like to go back to the hot sauce.
Lord.
All right.
He was so wrong for that.
And
look,
I'll get my walking boots on. Come on, we got to distribute it evenly. I'm gonna get my strike and my walking shoes on. I didn't see any walking shoes at the Kellogg strike. I saw him kind of destroy the strike when the NBA was ready to go to strike. So we got some strike busters that are in our leadership midst, unfortunately, and that's why, look, this has to be about the people. I think Chris Smalls nailed it in the message that he delivered. My concern with that is, how is that going to be framed on corporate media? Are they going to allow the soundbite? What soundbite are they going to allow? Are they going to show the picture of him meeting with Biden and only say, oh, Biden met with Amazon labor leaders, so therefore he's paying attention. He's doing something about the problem. Yeah, he's doing something about it, all right. We know what he's doing about it. Okay.
So because we're talking about this, and I think one of the best things for Chris Smalls to do is to continue to push this, but at the same time, keep the support going.
Yeah.
When it comes to pushing for this support, the people who are really staunch about unionizing, things like that, tends to be a lot of us on the left, right? Do not forget those of us who are smaller channels who you've spoken with before. Yes, going on Fox, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, all these, yes, get the information out there, but also don't forget us, because we also, a lot of us in this space, the activists, are watching these channels. The activists are consuming this content. And so don't forget about us, because the thing is that we were in your corner before the big wigs were in your corner.
And they're still not. They're still
not. They never will be. It's just, he's a spectacle to them. And while you can use that to your advantage, which I agree, using it to your advantage, look, if MSNBC calls and they want to have you on, go.
Great.
Do it. And then make them look like fools while you're live, right? But at the same time, make sure to come back and talk to us, so that, we know that there's still solidarity and community with us, and then we can keep pushing in that direction.
Well, it's communication.
Because for some of us,
we need you to communicate and tell us what message we need to be sharing with the workers. Okay, and again, the workers watching MSNBC and Fox? No, the bosses are. So what are the workers watching and listening to? Okay, because look, what's your average Fox News viewer? It's 64 years old, white, with a bunch of money in the bank. That's typical, right? No, look at the demographic for a Fox viewer. MSNBC, it's about the same. Okay, but they're more wine moms, okay, than Confederate flag dads, right? So, but now apparently people are watching, they say Democrats are watching Tucker more than they're watching Rachel Maddow, because everybody knows that Rachel Maddow's full of shit. But they're both full of shit. That's the truth. All corporate media, it's all paid, scripted ad narrative in between commercials for Pfizer and Big Defense and all that. And again, Reef, by the way, is probably screaming at his at his computer, yes, because this has been the exact message that he's been having since day one. Don't forget independent media, number one. Don't get co-opted, and don't let these people use you for their messaging and their campaign slogans in October and November, saying they're pro-union and they were there for you when we all know that they weren't. And it's not playing the game because they're directly working against you. And Reef's thing is, I thought he was great in what he said to Congress and what he said to Lindsey Graham.
Yeah,
Reef's like,
definitely.
you just basically told them how to beat you. You told them how they're beating you and how they can continue beating you by doing this, by doing that, by doing that. And it's a different message to the bosses than it is to the massive people. I'm like, yeah, but it's not them that he's trying to really reach. It's my wife. It's the normie who actually turns on the 6 o'clock news. If they put that clip on the 6 o'clock news, that's my concern. Is corporate media going to play the clip that they need to play or that we need them to play in order to change that narrative? And I'm worried that they're not going to. And they're going to continue to try to control that narrative when it comes to him. Now, here's the other big thing. There's a lot more than Chris Smalls in the Amazon Union. I'd love to talk to other members of the Amazon Union. And I've been trying to reach out and get other members, from Derek Barnes to anyone else who will come on any of our channels, talk to any of us about what's the plan, how do we continue to organize, how do we continue to support you guys? Do we want to stop ordering Prime 2-day and push it to 1 week? Do we want to do the locker boxes? Help us help you. I mean, and that's the thing that we're not really getting is communication at this point from the workers on how best to support their efforts, A, to unionize, and B, to continue to get the message out there to everyone who doesn't know about what's happening in Amazon warehouses. I mean, the amount of people I've talked to that are stunned, just stunned at the treatment that some of these Amazon employees are going through when they listen to Chris talk about it, and they and they hear about how these guys got arrested outside the facility bringing pizza to to these guys. And again, shout out to Jordan Status Quo for covering that live. And again, we got to get more of the press. We got to get more cameras out there. And he said 100 facilities have contacted him about unionizing. Talk to us. Let us help you. How are you helping to organize 100 facilities nationwide? We want to. We're dying to help, and we're reaching out, and we're trying like crazy to do so. So, and again, I know you're in this fight too. Sabby has been reaching out. I've been reaching out. Afeni has some direct lines, and I know Noli also has some texts with Chris, and we're certainly doing all we can to try to have this conversation, because it is so important to get the workers and continue to make this about workers. And what Reef also said was that, getting the Democrats involved is politicizing the union at the same time is making right-wingers not like it immediately. And you're going to have right-wingers, or at least apolitical people in that warehouse, that the minute they see Bernie and AOC, they're like, I'm out. This is bullshit. This is a Democratic Party op. And that's my concern. Yeah. And, Chris even said to Lindsey Graham, this has to be about workers. And I'm glad he's keeping it focused there. I hope they allow him to keep it focused there. Now, eat the rich gear. Mm-hmm. I don't know what kind of message that sends either.
Look, as far as eating the rich, I mean,
I want to eat the rich.
Keep my Frank's. I'll keep my Frank's Red Hot with me, but I don't know. I guess
because that's AOC gear. That's my point. The Eat the Rich stuff, I believe that's right out of Shop AOC.
I don't know. I never looked at her shop. First of all, I'm not interested. Second of all, I can't afford it.
Right.
But I mean, if he did, okay, I guess.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
It's like,
I love that he's wearing a Yankee hat.
Sentiment, though.
Dude, he's wearing a Yankee hat, like telling him big fuck you, I'm going to dress the way I'm going to dress. I'm not worried about like how he's dressed or whatever. I'm worried about like the gear he's wearing and who it represents and what it means. That's what I'm more concerned about, at least symbolism. And maybe he doesn't even realize it. And they just kind of hook him up. And he's like, shit, it's free clothes. I'm taking that,
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. You know, I know Lucy was all over that. You know, and again, is that like the
Yeah.
symbolic kind of under messaging that the Democrats like to play with? You know, where they're dressing Nina in a yellow shirt and a blue jacket, right? That was the other one that I saw last week, and Chris Legion was all over that. Like, oh, come on, man. And then it was like, well, it was for some awareness, but it turned out that awareness was October, so it's like, come on, we see that, you know, maybe she just likes blue and yellow, and that's fair, but you know, nobody noticed. Nobody noticed. It's just kind of funny how this all, you know, everybody's looking for something all the time. Oh man, again, we want the best for Chris Smalls. We are advocates for Chris Smalls. I can't shower this guy with enough love and tell him how much we want to help the union and help the workers. And I think Jay is of that sentiment as well. And just reach out and talk to us is my only request. And you know, whether that is, you know, talk to Sabby, talk to Nick, talk to some of us down here who've been like screaming like, hey guys, it looks to us like you're getting co-opted. It looks to us like the Democratic Party is doing all they can to embrace you and turn this whole thing political when we need to keep it focused on the workers. And let's at least have the conversation so that we know that the people who are around you who are talking to you are at least giving you that messaging as well. And that's the concern. You know, the more the conversations that we have are who's around him, what kind of advice are they giving him? And you know, Reef's thing was he should have told Congress to go pound stand, even though he was invited to this hearing, and said, I'm too busy organizing to get there at all, and not even played the spectacle. I see both sides. I don't know. I'm torn on that one. I think it's important to go there and do the dance and show the public that you scared the president enough that he's got to pay attention to you. Now, that to me sends a message that now you guys have at least arrived to the point that they have to pay attention to you. Now, I will also say, and I don't know if anybody else has called this out on a stream or anywhere, but I follow Chris on Instagram, and you probably do too. And the day before he was supposed to go to the White House, the night before, he had put up on his stories that he was going to get to meet VP Harris. So my feeling was, and that's what Reef is saying. My feeling was they were going to have him actually meet Harris, and they pulled a switcheroo on him at the last minute. I don't think that he ever really intended to meet Joe Biden when he went to the White House, and he was shocked when they put him in the room with Joe. And I could be wrong, but I remember seeing on his stories the night before, like going to the White House to meet VP. Like, why would he say VP if they were going to put him in front of Biden? I think they pulled the switcheroo on him because they figured, let the optics of having Biden go with a labor leader. And like, all right, okay. But I just thought it was interesting to, again, talking about how they try to spin a story, how they tell him one thing and then last minute change the thing on him.
It's kind of funny keep him off guard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of funny how the same guy who said he didn't want his kids to be growing up in a racial jungle, and when he was thinking things like that, he was thinking of people like Chris Smalls, and then now he wants to shake hands with Chris Smalls in front of the cameras. It just strikes me as really interesting, because the thing is that Joe Biden only did that to make himself look good. It wasn't really for anything of benefit whatsoever to people like Chris Smalls and the ALU.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it got Chris Smalls and the ALU a lot of national attention, which, you know, is good. But at the same time, I don't trust the Democrats as far as I can throw them.
Man, that picture, they're going to get a lot more mileage out of that picture than Chris will. That's the thing. And again, I don't think Chris had any idea he was going to be put in that room and have that picture with Joe Biden. And that was going to be what happened. I really think that they kind of, and look, they put you in the White House, they shuffle you from room to room to room. You basically have no control once you get in there of what's going to happen at that moment. And again, it may not even have been Joe who said, I want to meet this guy. It could have been one of the advisors that turned and said, we've got the Amazon labor guy. let's get Joe in the room with him. That'll look great for the cameras. You know, like something I could totally see something like, especially with the the platitude salad of the Democratic Party, with the way that optics are more important than actual substance. I mean, this plays perfectly for them to tell you one thing and then completely pull the switcheroo just to throw him off guard and to have him be like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? And then he's taking that picture. It's like, oh man. And everyone, I know everyone collectively in our throats, like slapping their heads like, no. And look, you got to play the game, but dude, oh, it was, yeah, see?
It can be a dirty game,
see?
so.
Tracy in chat is saying Biden didn't even know what was going on or why Chris was there, which perfectly plays into exactly what I was saying. They didn't tell Chris and they didn't tell Joe. They put the two of them in a room together and said, take a picture. And he went, who's this guy? Holy shit.
Like Chris Smalls knows who Joe is, but Joe doesn't know who the hell Chris Smalls was.
Now he knows who Chris Smalls is for sure. But wow, that's stunning to a point, but not stunning at all, because again, this is president by committee. I think we all have known that. Is Joe Biden making the final decisions across the board? No. So, you know, I don't know who made this decision, but it's one that's going to be talked about a lot and studied. And now the next time something like this happens, we have to be better prepared for what we're going to do and what our strategy and what our approach is going to be. Again, I think he handled it pretty well, but to understand what they might pull and how to overcome that. I don't know how, you know, maybe if he does, he does like he yells out "Free Tar Reid," you know, like while they're taking the picture, right? Like something, we need to work something out. So if they pull that nonsense on us, we're already prepared for that too. Because I don't know if anybody pregame for that kind of a scenario where they were going to actually put him in the room with the president, where he's going to have an opportunity to lobby Biden, even though again, lobbying Biden is useless. You got to lobby the bankers and his bosses in order to actually get something done. Though he can sign a pen with an executive action, we know that he does not pull that pen out for anything to help the people. So, let's see. What else do I still have? Favorite, most impressive guests. I got that. Okay, so here's one of my favorite questions, and it always trips everybody up. What's one thing people would be surprised to learn about JB?
Oh my God. Oh boy. I don't really know. I never learned how to ride a bike. That's one thing. So yeah, never got a chance to, because didn't have one growing up, couldn't afford one growing up. So never learned how to ride a bike. What else?
Well, I think people don't know, and I know, but I don't think a lot of people know about your religious, and you haven't talked much about background having to do with you, Jehovah's Witness, right? You were JW?
Yeah, I was one for almost 20 years. I left about 4 years ago. And so I went door to door preaching for almost 20 years. So yeah, from the age of 14 to 33. Yeah. So I did that. And yeah, that's a part of my life that, you know, I had, but I mean, there were some qualities that I was taught that I still apply to this day, you know, try to be as, you know, as kind as I can, as compassionate as I can, and altruistic as I possibly can. But at the same time, yeah, I'm definitely not in that organization anymore. You know, I left that in the past, but yeah, so I used to be one. And there's some, there's some definitely loving people who I've encountered in my years there that I'll always consider, close to my heart. So yeah.
Is that something that your family was a member, was part of that church before, and you came to, or you found it like through school or friends or an organization? I'm just I don't know how much you want to talk. It doesn't seem like you want to talk about much. I'm just fascinated a little bit by it. Again, I
Yeah.
see how it shaped you in a lot of ways. And you're very introspective, and I definitely have seen that from JWs in the past. People who I've encountered, and again, it's
Yeah.
just go ahead.
Well, I mean, I started going when I was about 5 years old. And so from the ages of 5 until I was 14, I was associated with them, and, throughout, them in the congregations. And then at the age of 14, I decided to become one. And so that was back in 99. So yeah, so I, in being raised in it, you get to a point where one of the things that we were taught was that if the government, of course, they believe in Jesus. So if they said if the government, did what they did to Jesus, that means they can do the same thing to you. So we were always skeptical of government, period. And of course, they were pretty, prolific in fighting for the free speech rights and free religious rights of them being able to not having to salute the flag and things like that. So they were pretty prolific in that and fighting the Supreme Court. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting, and get to learn the history of them as I was in it and growing up. So yeah, I mean, I've been associated with them since I was 5, but I finally came into it I probably became one when I was 14. So
It was really family. Like at 5, you're not you're not getting in the car and go by yourself. You went with your mom or with family
yeah,
to. Nice. Okay.
yeah,
And are they still
yeah.
members of that too, or?
One family member still won. The rest are not.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, Reef is saying, "Holy shit, we're gonna get JB a bike with training wheels, the pimpin' banana seat, and everything." All right, we got to hook a brother up, right?
Yeah. Y'all gonna have to get me one of them big wide seats, because you are not putting all this
Dude,
on a banana seat. Trust and believe.
That's great, and we have an admirer who's a fan and friend of mine, and her name's Robin. I know she's been in your chats before, Robin Ryan. She says hey, and she said if there's one thing I can ever do for you, she says she wants you to get out and see the stars, because you don't get to see enough stars. So at some point, we've got to figure out a way to get JB out to the country. And Reef said, look, man, if we can figure out a way to get JB a ride, Reef's over in Tallahassee. He's not that far from you. So if we can figure out a way to get you over to Reef, he's like, man, there's stars everywhere. And dude, there's a bed, there's a place for JB to chill anytime. He can even go live right here, and we can do a one-on-one interview. So we definitely want to be able to hook that up. But yeah, so not riding a bike. Yeah, we definitely want to. We'll get you the training wheels. We'll pimp it out. We'll get the streamers off the side and everything. I love it. Well, there you go.
Give me the big wheel.
Nice. Darlene says to start out on a trike, like one of those Can-Am Spider things. Those things are badass. Let me tell you. Right?
Oh, you know what? That's one of the things I've always wanted to do. Like, as far as motorized bikes are concerned, I always wanted to get on a trike. I would love to be able to do one of those, take it, out to the coast,
Right.
ride it along the beach. I think that'd be something that's pretty really cool. And it looks like it'd be very relaxing, just chill. So that's something that I've actually always wanted to do too. So
Cool, cool. All right.
Got the
So,
wind in my hair, you know.
dude, that would be hilarious to watch you ride again. Riding on bikes is pretty cool. I have not ridden a bike in years. The last I went to Key West on a trip way back, and we got on a moped and we were driving around Key West on a moped, and that was like some of the most fun. It was like 30 miles an hour. You weren't going too fast, but it was such a good time. But
Wow.
they say it's embarrassing for dudes to be on a moped. I wasn't
Oh,
embarrassed at
please.
all. I wasn't embarrassed at all. Those Vespas are pretty
Like,
badass little scooter thingies, you know? Like those things are
like,
cool.
yeah. I mean, gosh, this patriarchal bullshit. Oh, it's
Right?
embarrassing to be on a
Masculinity?
moped.
Right,
Like,
masculinity
it's like,
bullshit. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, man, shut up. Like, look, it's fun. Do it. Like, leave all that stuff out the window. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like, come on, you know.
Yep.
So, I mean, look, I've never rode a moped, so I probably would have fun on one. So,
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
saying.
you just sit and you ride. I mean, it's great, and it doesn't go too fast. It's pretty easy to control. It's a good starter type of thing. But again, we got to get you on
Yeah.
training wheels first and get you on a quad. Quad is probably where we start with you right there, because it's got the four wheel, the nice balance, and you move from that to a trike or a bike, and we get you on that for sure. Um, all right, so I know I only have you for a little bit more, so I want to give you a chance to do some plugs, promotion. I know you do your show is what, Tuesday afternoons at 2 o'clock usually in the afternoon. So you tell
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
when they can find you, where they can find you. I know I got everything in the description everywhere, but when they can find you on RBN, when you guys doing your
Yeah.
next summit, if you're involved in any other big projects, yeah, lay it on me, and so I can amplify it for sure.
Thank you so much. You guys can catch me on the JB Show on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be on there. Sometimes I may do a little bit more of an impromptu stream throughout the week besides that, but I do that. You guys can also catch me on the Revolutionary Blackout Network. I do the JB Show on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can also catch me on the Roundtable on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. And then, make sure to, and I'm also on Anchor, Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts for my channel. So if you guys want to catch me while you're on the go, you guys can also do that as well. And make sure also to like, share, and subscribe, the INN.
Yeah, baby.
And make sure that you guys also are, subscribing to their Patreons and other different avenues so that they also can keep the lights on, just like I keep the lights on for myself.
Right, we got to hook JB up. I got his Cash App. I have his Patreon also in the
Oh,
description.
man.
I got everything down there. TikTok. All right, everybody, if you're on TikTok, and I am not, but everybody has to go follow JB
You
on
got my
TikTok.
TikTok?
I got your TikTok, dude. I got your everything. Come on. I told you, I Google searched you, all right? Because I Google searched Jay Befaunt, all as one word. Because if I searched James Fauntleroy, I found this entertainer, and I found like one or two posts. If you search Jay Befaunt, there's a whole treasure trove of stuff that comes up. Tweets that you were in.
Wait, hold on. Let me
bro.
Google
Yeah,
myself.
we're gonna talk about this
Google
later.
myself.
We're gonna talk about this later. But tweets that you were in, websites that have written nice things and not so nice things about you. One of them was like 30 tweets that are embarrassing or something. I was like, come on, dude. And I read your tweet. I was like, there's nothing embarrassing. I totally agree with this tweet. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
I gotta send you that. But yeah, already indexing under Jay Befaunt. See that? Oh, I gotta send you that. Now I definitely send you that. But it said it was like on page 3 already, our video, because I put your handle as the first word of the title on the video, so it's already indexing better than anything Indie Left ever puts out, which is hilarious. I get shadow banned and suppressed like crazy, so that's really good that I'm at least indexing for your name, if not my own. Because if you search the words leftist today on Google, you will find me. You search it on DuckDuckGo, you'll find me, and you'll find a bunch of my stuff. But that's the Substack where I put a lot of your videos. So when you do the Sunday stream, so who are you having on tomorrow, by the way?
Oh gosh. At the moment, I think I'm having on Quaker Socialist.
Oh, she's awesome. Love her.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about something pretty big. There's been quite a bit of food shortages and some accidents
The
that have
factory
been happening
farms.
lately.
The factory fires. Yeah.
So I think that's something that needs to be talked about because capitalism is a son of a gun. So we want to talk about why, these things are happening suddenly now,
Right.
while, the economy is basically crippled because of a pandemic. And so, yeah, I think that's something that we should be talking about. So that's what I'll be doing on the JB show on RBN tomorrow.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and again, I've got all the RBN links down in the chat in the description as well. For they're on Rockfin, they're on YouTube, they're now on Rumble, and I got your Rumble channel as well. So go subscribe to JB on Rumble. We're trying to get everybody off YouTube. Fuck the YouTube algorithm. They steal money from content creators. They've stolen money from Franco. They've stolen money from the Convo Couch. They've stolen money from so many creators in our space, and I can't stand that we have to rely on them for amplification. But little by little, as we build our channels on Rockfin, hopefully one of these days we can basically use YouTube as the two-minute commercial. Hey, we're going live. Everybody get over to Rockfin, and we're going to go live over there because we want to game this algorithm and use them to build our audience and not give them the full content that they can then use and monetize against us later on. And how many times just this week RBN had a video taken down, right? Your post inauguration stream, or no, there was the State of the Union. Your post State of the Union stream got taken down, right? I think Rome said they took that down from either his channel or RBN. So you guys were experiencing censorship.
Channel, I can't remember, but yeah, we've had some videos taken down. So yeah, again, it's pretty bad. I mean,
support them on these other platforms.
Yeah, we're on for RBN. We are also on Rockfin. I think we just got on Rumble. I think we're just getting on Rumble. We're on Twitch. We also are on Facebook too. So
yep. And what about Odyssey? I wanted to ask you about Odyssey, because Odyssey, by the way, will back up your YouTube channel automatically. It won't do the live streams, but if you upload videos to your channel, it will back up the videos, and you have the ability to live stream to Odyssey. And you've got enough subscribers where they'll do it for free for you automatically.
I think we're working on that one right now at the moment, but I don't think we're on Odyssey as of yet. So we're still trying to expand. We just got on Callin.
Nice.
So we're doing that now. So, we're taking it step by step, but yeah, we're working on expanding that as well.
I've got a referral link for you for Odyssey. I think we both get hooked up with a couple free tokens. And nice. Then Telegram is the other one where I've seen a lot of people moving towards Telegram, especially in our space, as people are getting deplatformed or censored off of Twitter specifically. Telegram seems to be a decent app for building an audience and broadcasting out. That might be another thing. And I'm actually streaming live on the Telegram. You can even go live through OBS or through custom RTMPs on StreamYard out to Telegram as well. So that might be something else for RBN to look at as another way to expand, and even you for your channels as well. That's something I'm certainly able to talk to you about, help you with, and support as far as getting going. Cool. Like, for example, I know the Bank Sisters, we love Courtney Keisha, shout out to them. The Camp Dada that they're doing, everybody go check that out, and follow them on Twitter and learn more about that event. They're going to be camping in the Hamptons and pissing off all the rich people on Labor Day weekend. So love those girls. So we got them going on Rockfin. It was like, how do we do this and mechanisms? So that's one of the things that between Reef and I, we got a lot of the technical stuff kind of worked out. We're pooling resources at INN to try to help all the streamers and give them advice and platform stuff and support whatever we can do. But dude, this has been awesome. It flew by like I knew it would. I definitely, this won't be the last time we talk. And I love you. I love you to death. I only wish the best for you. And I love to see your growth, and we'll continue to help you to grow and want to grow with you. And we'll do all I can there to again, you're a true friend of Indie Left, and Indie Left will be a friend to you as well. So whatever we can do, love seeing you, and thank you everybody for being here in chat. We're gonna cut this up. We'll have some clips going up, I'm sure, over the next couple of weeks. And
a few more clips, there you go. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, we got a little intro thing for Fanto. You gotta grab that one. All right, everybody. We're gonna get out for tonight. We're gonna let JB get some rest, and thank him for his time. Thank you everybody for being here. Again, this was Friends of Indie Left, episode 7. Jay Befaunt. This is Indie out, and as Reflex say, listen to what little birdies have to say.